Heroes are normally the protagonists in most stories, which lead to the typical bad guy loses and good guy wins stories. But manhwas where the MC is a villain allows the readers to understand what's going on in the villain's mind, and maybe even empathize with them. All I'm saying is that it leads to a more interesting storyline and just provides something new and a bit different for the readers. So here's a list of the top 10 manhwas where the MC is a villain.
I'm coming for the throne.
Vigilante. The law is not flawless. Personally, I would say it's somewhat unfair. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. What do you think? This manhwa tells the story of a citizen who decided to become the law itself. The current laws are no good, so he will create the perfect system. Just how arrogant can he be? The story follows a cop who thinks that the law is unfair and decides to become the law itself by enacting justice on criminals at night. The storyline and art are pretty great, and the story itself is interesting enough. Talent Stealer. The young man Yi Tian obtains the ability to copy the talents of others, and now fights against the heavens to change his fate. He struggles to survive and protect his sister from the apocalypse of the alien beast invasion. In order to become stronger, he begins to explore the unknown world, and gradually reveals the secret behind the invasion of the alien dimension. The main character is ruthless, strong, and smart, and the art fit really well with the story. The only problem I have is that the pacing of the story is a bit rushed. The main character became overpowered in like 2 chapters, which leaves no room for character development. List of villains. The most dangerous villain is the one who only learns martial arts. Aura's rejuvenating abilities appears, and confrontation between traditional martial arts and superpowers begins from that. Li Sheng, a martial artist who was recognized as too powerful, was placed at number 1 on the threat level rankings list. He was then kidnapped for no reason and brought to an underwater experimentation facility, and was locked up with many other prisoners like him. He then escapes and returns to the surface, but as a villain. Well, I'm not too sure what to say about this one. The art and plot is okay, it just didn't give me the amount of excitement I was looking for. It was a little below my expectations. Cultivator against Hero Society. A powerful cultivator unexpectedly time-traveled into the modern world with heroes. In this small world, the fight between cultivation and superpowers shall begin. Our main character is a cultivator who is transported from his world to Earth after being defeated in battle. Then he defeats some really strong heroes and starts working as an instructor in a hero school. In my perspective, this manhwa is actually pretty good. Even though most people these days don't like all the cultivation stuff, I'd really recommend it. It's somehow made as a mix of cultivation and superpowers. It has a really strong start, and the art is very nice, and it has a unique take on the cultivation transmigration genre. Useless villain. High school student Dongjin Kim seems like a typical moody teenager, but underneath it all, he's a powerful psychic villain who aims to destroy humanity. But there's a catch. Every time he uses his powers to kill, he is thrown back in time. Trapped in this time loop, Dongjin tries to narrow down the culprit by doing the one thing he knows, killing those around him. Will he be able to escape from the time loop and achieve his goal as a villain? Well, most of you guys will find it interesting at first. The whole situation that the main character is in is just mysterious and kind of makes you get into the story a bit more. But for me, it got boring after a few chapters, and then I just dropped it. But who knows, maybe we'll get better. Dimensional Mercenary. Would you like to find a job, even at the cost of your soul? If so, then you found the right place. Our job hunting advice website, Soul Sellers, is a site geared towards those willing to even sell their souls for employment. That's right, people like you. Are you dealing with angels or demons? 30-year-old freeloader Chol Ho Kang made a deal through this shady website, even selling his soul for the chance at what else? Money. An invitation to the other world for the weak and downtrodden of society for a chance to change their lot in life. That is the mission given to Chol Ho Kang. Have you ever been reading a manhwa that started off good and kept on getting interesting, but right when you thought you found something good, it just straight up started turning into garbage? Well, this is one of those manhwas. The story started off great, but just took a turn for the worst. But that's just what I think. Dead Tube. Distributing thrilling videos in secret, a school game that puts life and death on the line. Simply put, DeadTube is a series about people who film things and put the videos on DeadTube, and compete to see who gets the most views. And our hopeless main character, who is a high school student but also an expert cameraman, gets roped into participating. And through his eyes and camera, we get to see the utterly depraved and disgusting things people will do to get more views. This is one of, if not the best mangas I've ever read. I enjoyed it so much to the point where I thought I had some kind of mental problem. But who cares, it was just really damn good. The Devil's Boy. Jung-ho is bullied to the point of self-harm until one day, his prayers are answered by Mephistopheles, the Archdevil. Mephisto offers Jung-ho magical powers that would allow him to take revenge on his bullies, and in return, asks for his soul. It's an easy choice for Jung-ho, who thinks nothing can be worse than the living hell that is his life. But what he doesn't know is that there are greater forces at work, and that he's but a pawn in a much larger game played by demons and exorcists. It's a good looking manhwa, especially the powers looks nice and crisp. With a cool premise, but pretty much all of the characters are insane, or at least needs to see a psychiatrist, but I doubt that would help. Now I'm a pretty messed up person myself, so I found this very exciting. There's not much to complain about. How to Live as a Villain. You have been chosen as a player in the great game to select the next god's successor, the mission. Congratulations! Sung-hoon has suddenly fallen into another world to participate in a game to become a god. This other world that is akin to that of a game contains players who cooperate and also kill each other in cold blood. Seung-hoon, a person without an ounce of talent, uses wicked and cruel tricks to become an all-powerful player. The MC does what he feels needed, and he can betray anyone for his gains. He isn't full of himself in a way that feels fake, and is not the pure evil kind of villain. The characters are good enough, and the overall world building and characters are also on point. Right now, the story has a lot of potential. Villain to Kill. There are two kinds of people with special abilities: psychers who pursue justice and villains who are driven by evil desires, commit crimes. The story follows Cassian Lee, who is a psycher. One day, on a trip to Greece to visit his friend, things take a turn for the worst when he is put through a series of events that causes the death of both him and his friend. He then unexpectedly wakes up in the body of a Korean high school boy, Won Gang-gu, that just awakened as a villain. Now given a second chance, he tries to find out what caused his death and betrayal by his former co-worker, while trying to understand and control his new powers as a villain, while defeating villains and upholding justice. And that's all for the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.